Hello, my name is Marjorie the Love Doctor, and welcome to Wind Beneath His Wings School of Marriage. Today I want to talk to you singles about sex before marriage. I know a lot of people are doing it. I know people have a lot of different views about it, but I just want to let you know that just because you've had sex before does not mean you can't stop until you're married. Now, as you all know, I teach these classes from a Christian perspective, a realistic Christian perspective. And because this conversation comes up so much, we really need to talk about it. Are you the kind of person that feels like that once you're in love, it's okay to have sex? Or are you the kind that feels like once you are engaged, you can have sex with your fiance? Or are you a born-again virgin, like how I was? Are you going to wait until your wedding night? Or do you think that if you have sex with your partner before you get married, that it may change something? Now, all those things came through my mind, and let me tell you, those are some good questions to ponder. I remember when I was 29, that's when I gave my heart to the Lord for the final time. And I always wanted to be a virgin on my wedding night. And I thought, well, since I had sex as a teenager, I messed up. And I believed the lie that everybody kept telling me, how once you have sex, you can't go back and all that stuff. It's nonsense. But what happened was, I waited. I dedicated a ring to the Lord in my room. I had my own wedding ceremony with the Lord. Now, a lot of you that know me, you know that I called the night that the Lord came and got me to be with Him, I made Him my man. I called Him my man. Back in the day, that was a word. You didn't have a boyfriend, you had a man. So I made Him my man. And I made Him my man and not just my Savior, because I needed more than, I say, the average person, or at least that's what I thought. I had never ever in my life cheated on any boyfriend. So I knew if I made him my man and not just my Savior, that I would follow suit and not cheat on him. That was my frame of thought. The first year was pretty easy, but the second through the fourth year was not so easy. I was tempted at every hand. I mean, really tempted at every hand. Once, I think in year 2, I slipped for a few minutes and started crying and screaming, I can't cheat, I can't cheat, I can't cheat on my man. My friend was not happy at all, but we stopped. And I went back, and then from that point on, I stayed abstinent until my wedding day. The hardest temptation was when my husband and I became girlfriend and boyfriend. And after about a week, I fell in love with him as a woman to a man that they're about to be married. Before, we were just friends, and we were really good friends, but he loved me from day one and had asked me to marry him from day one. And, a whole year went by, so I had to catch up to the way he felt about me. So the day I fell in love with him, 1 week later, that's when it really began to get hard. Oh, my goodness. So you know what we used to do? We used to go out to a lot of the 24-hour restaurants. And we would sit and talk and eat something slowly. Sometime we would go to a restaurant that closed maybe at midnight or 1 o'clock, and we would be so in tune to each other. And we're not looking at anybody else. We're just looking into each other's eyes and playing with each other's fingers and our feet, trying not to be alone. And the restaurant managers would be so mad because we didn't even notice people had gone. They were cleaning up and getting ready to close, and a lot of time they would just say, excuse me, we have been closed now for 30 minutes, sometime an hour. So we found ourselves to this restaurant called Jimmy's. That seemed to be the hangout where most of the born-again Christians who were engaged went. We all walked in and saw each other. We would look at each other like, I know why you're here. We're trying not to be alone. It's really difficult. A lot of people say, oh, no, it's under the blood. Yeah, it's under the blood. But you have to learn to control your urges, and it's not easy. I like to tell the single people, come up with the ways that that you won't put yourself in that situation. You know, one of the best things was when I was single was I made up a lot of rules. I am the rule queen. I was the rule queen. My husband used to say to me, I'm not following all those rules, but I insisted because I know me. I know me, and because I loved my husband so much, and he loved me, of course we want to express our love. But the danger of that is, now some people, as a single person, we all know that sometimes we say things that we really don't mean. I'm not going to call out any gender, but we know just from living, just from, being out there and being part of this sexual revolution, that a lot of times people will say things to us when they want something from us. And when they get hot and bothered enough, they'll say, I love you. They'll say, oh, let's get married. They'll say all kinds of things. Not just the men, you women too. It's been a big change in the world lately. And so you got to get prepared for what's ahead of you. You might be the kind that say, well, it's okay if you love the person. That's the lie that we tell ourselves. If I love them. How many times have you heard people say, oh, I found my soulmate? I don't know when this soulmate stuff started, but I'm so sick of hearing somebody is somebody's soulmate, and then the next week they break up. You see? Do you want to play these kind of games? Give yourself to someone that's not your husband, and now your soulmate, the one you were so excited about, is gone. That's a bad setup. It's not a good feeling. I know the word soulmate wasn't out when I was single, but I know exactly how you feel. If they are true, if they really want to marry you one day, make them wait. I tell this to my sons all the time. They're teenagers, and of course they like girls, and they, their eyes are wide open, and, but I tell them the importance of waiting. I said, there's a lot of things going on out there. There's a lot of diseases. There's a lot of children born, out of wedlock. And most of the time, they can't even, the two parents can't even stand each other after they've had their conquest and now they're gone. How many of your friends have children by a man, or men by the woman, your baby's mama, as you say, and you don't even like each other? Think about it. You lay down and your life is changed forever. If diseases don't get you, having a baby out of wedlock with somebody you may or may not want to ever see again in your life. That's serious. What I'm trying to say